So I had some years where I was working in some places, and okay, let me talk about a space I had before. So I used to work in a place. I won't talk much about the place, all right. But there was this babe. Now I spoke about it on previous episode. I said I wanted to talk about it now, so I'm going to talk about it. So I used to ask myself, like, why aren't I putting in the requisite energy that I need to put in to do this thing? Honestly, because I felt like I know when I'm putting in all of myself, and honestly, I'm not putting in all of myself. I don't know. Some of us we've had this dilemma. They're like, I just don't feel like, not just even feel like, I just don't want to, do this thing. I'm only doing this thing because I have to. For example, sometimes it could be school, sometimes it could even be a certain job. You're only doing this thing out of necessity. And there's only so much necessity can bring out of you. Like, no offense. There's a way doing things out of necessity over a long period of time. If it's a short burst of time, yes, but over a long period of time can stifle your work rates, if you understand what I'm saying. So, I mean, and when I noticed it, all right, because I was looking at myself and assessing myself as a worker in the organization, because I know people say don't compare yourself, but sometimes using the level of other people can also tell you a lot about yourself. So I was looking at, okay, the output of everybody else in the organization. Am I meeting at least up to the standard? Am I pushing myself enough? And I was looking at it and trying to make sense of it. And I was looking at everybody. And at that point in time, to be very honest, we're all producing the same outputs. So in my mind, I thought, you know what? I think this is all right. I'm putting out the same output as everybody. Only for 2 months into the job. All right, no, not 2 months into, rather 2 months later, this babe comes into the organization. In fact, she was working with me on some stuff before, and her work rate was insane. Like, not only the output of her work was perfect, to say the least, but her work rate, like, if I ask her, please, could you help me do something now, within the next 2 hours she's done. And I'm not talking done as in she rushed it or she used ChatGPT. She did the work. She probably did research. She pushed herself, got everything, bam 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 bam. And over time I could already see the trajectory this babe was going. Like, she was, first of all, she became very close to the CEO, which is kind of obvious. I said it. She's like every CEO's wet dream, and to today, I still stand by it. Forget the vulgar language. I'm so sorry about that, but like, she's too good at what she does. And then one day, well, during one meeting, the CEO was making, because it's a closely knit team. That's why you're hearing me talk about CEO. But yeah, the CEO was talking about her, and he was like, a partner from Google, or basically a programs operator from Google, wanted to hire her because he saw some work she did, or rather he experienced some work she did for basically somebody around them thereabouts. And the job was, a lot of money. They would have sorted out her transports, basically change her life kind of thing. And the babe said no, that she's not interested. Well, she didn't say it like that. She said it like a polite way. And she said that the work she's doing here means something to her and is valuable to her. And like, this is where she wants to be. And it taught me something so valuable that at the time I wasn't really thinking about it, but now I've left the company and I've been reflecting on a lot of things, and I really wanted to talk about it because I think it's so important. It's about purpose and passion. Look, there's a way Pastor Aaron defines it that I think really encapsulates what purpose is. Purpose is that one thing that you were created for and you were put on this earth, that if you don't do or you don't complete, nothing else you've ever done on this earth would matter. Thereabout, I'm paraphrasing. I think I'll master that definition later, but I'm just paraphrasing. And listening to what this girl said really put it into perspective. That, look, there is one thing that you are made for. When I say one thing you are made for, all right, I mean, there's one thing that you are wired for. For me, it's podcasting. In other words, and that's why I believe there's a God. Because I couldn't have been born in the 30th century, 60th century. All right. There are elements of podcasting that could still have survived then, e.g. talking, you understand? E.g. expressing yourself in a very articulate manner. But the expression would not have been fulfilled, or will I say, fully expressed if I was born there. There are some certain kind of people, they could not have been born in this century. I could not have been born in past centuries because their gifts, their purpose did not align to what the world needed then. If you understand what I'm saying, I'm going a bit deep, but please follow me. And I sat down to really, really think. This one may be a very long one. I'm so sorry. I know I usually do like 15 minutes, but this may be 30. Just follow me because it's so important. But I know I usually think about these things and I'm like, if you're really wondering why you're working at a certain space and you don't feel like you're giving your absolute output, in fact, you don't even feel like you're doing that much. You just feel like, you're cruising through things. You're just putting in the requisite, it may not even be bare minimum. It may just be the requisite amount of energy, you understand, to get seemingly good reviews. You're not putting in your all. You're just putting in, and how you know you're putting in your all, at least there'll be something that you've put in your all before. And I was looking at myself in this job and I was like, I know I'm not putting in my all. I'm trying my best. And those two things are not the same. Believe me, you can be trying your best and not putting in your all. I don't know how to explain that one for you, but people that understand me. And when she said that, the reason why she's putting in her all, the reason why she's doing these things is because this is what she was meant to do. The work she was doing was, I won't go as far as to say it's her purpose, but it aligned with her purpose. It aligned with what she was meant to do, because there's this passion you have, there's this drive you have when you are doing something that is aligning with your purpose or you are meant to do, that fuels you even when things don't really, really make sense. You just want to go the extra mile. You just want to do the necessary things. You just want to push yourself beyond the extraordinary. For me, it's always going to be media and podcasting. And over a period of time, you begin to see, like for me, I'm going to build a podcast agency. That is a guaranteed fact. If you check my LinkedIn right now, you see podcast consultants. I've changed it. Forget networking, forget cybersecurity. Believe me, I'm all those things. But my end goal is not podcast consulting, but you guys begin to see it over there. But one of the major things is now a podcast consultant. I do podcasting effortlessly. When I say I mean effortlessly. I could sit down, and people can attest this. I can sit down and do an 8-hour podcast without fail. And I will be talking without fail. And you would not even realize the tiredness or the breaking in my voice or whatever. And I'm not saying I'm the best at podcasting. I'm not saying I am. Obviously, there are like ways for me to go. But this thing is where I know 100% of my energy can go to and I will not feel tired. Like there's a passion, there's a drive, there's a push. Ladies and gentlemen, even before I started earning, listen to me, before I earned my first salary, I bought a 750,000 naira podcast setup. Hear what I said. Before I started earning my first salary. Do you understand how much passion, how much drive, how much faith you must have to do such a thing? That in my mind, I know. See, hear me and quote me well. If I continue on this trajectory I am, within the next 15 years, the world will know my voice. Full stop. I didn't say Nigeria. I didn't say Africa. I said the world. That is how sure I am. You can't, God, let me put it this way. You can't convince me that I will not make it in podcasting. It's not an if, it is a when. And even that when, I know when. I put a timeline to it. Listen to this podcast and come back to you 15 years from now. I know. As if I continue to put in this thing, it will not be let me put it this way. It will not be an if. It's not a maybe. It will happen. And there's this fire. If you listen to me, you know that there's this fire, there's this energy, there's this. So I'm talking to that one person right now, that what you think or what you are doing with so much energy, with so much passion. Some of you is even media. Some of you is as simple as art, as drawing. Some of you is comedy. Some of you is this. I mean, if somebody can make billions of naira and is passionate about food, I think his name is Opeyemi something. His own is he tastes food and reviews it, and he's passionate about it, and he's making influence through it. He's making billions of naira, but he's influential through it. That tells you that there is nothing. Let me tell you something. There is nothing. As you're listening to me, open your ear, put your ear wide and hear me. Listen to me. There is absolutely nothing that is off limits for you. It doesn't matter how crazy, it doesn't matter how small, or you think how small, how inconsequential. 10 years ago, podcasting was not a thing. You couldn't become influential through podcasting. Today, we have the likes of Diary of a CEO. People don't even know him for his other businesses. If I ask you what was the first business he's running, you don't know. If I tell you what is his current company, in fact, the name behind the company that is funding Diary of a CEO, you don't know. But if I mention Diary of a CEO, you know Stephen Bartlett. That tells you something. All right. So listen, there is a drive, there is an energy, there is a passion that resides in purpose. It is one of the providence of God that, look, while you are in this purpose, your energy follows. People talk about, God, this is my purpose, this is what I'm meant to do, but I don't have resources. God has given you energy. That in itself is a resource. People don't understand that your energy is way more important than your money. That's a whole different conversation. Your energy is far and infinitely more important than your money, because it's your energy that will end up bringing you money. I don't chase money. I chase things that give me energy. Things that normally I should feel drained for. This gives me energy. You are in the right. You are in the right. Let me tell you something. If you want to know where your purpose is, sometimes look for the thing where when I do it, I gain more energy. As in, I'm refreshed, I'm refilled. Prayer is one thing. That is how you know that when you pray, you're in the will of God for your life. Because you don't come out of prayer and feel, oh God, I'm so tired, I'm so weak. I'm fired up in my spirit. Let's not go into that. But let's talk about it in another way. All right. So I'm talking about purpose and passion, where a lot of the reasons why we don't feel as the way we should, or we don't, push as the way we should. I know we shouldn't always listen to our feelings, but this is one aspect where I think you should. Have you seen Pastor Aaron preach? You can tell that this is what he was made to do. Yes, he has a good voice, and he's into music ministry and he's into film ministry, but his passion is, number one, the things of God. And he has said it so many times, if all he does for the rest of his life is just preach, he himself will be happy. Not like that's what God wants him to do only, but if all he can do is preach, and that's okay, he'll be very satisfied with that. And that tells you where his heart is. That tells you what he does. Do you think people used to think that Reboot Camp used to be 3? When I say 3, as it used to happen in multiple cities before. I know because I've listened to all the Reboot Camp prior to this, or at least most of them. It used to happen in multiple cities before. Now it happens only in one space. Imagine what that felt like. Going from Lagos to Abuja, from Abuja to Port Harcourt, from Port Harcourt back to Lagos, and having sessions, I think 1 or 2 day sessions each. Do you think you can do that if you don't have passion? Do you think it's easy? Because a preacher that doesn't really have passion for those kind of things, if you're not called to do it, you can't do it. You wake up one morning and be like, bro, I can't do this thing. It's not jazz. I can't just do this thing. It's not jazz. They can't kill me. Imagine if they tell me now, Max, you're doing, and it's not one day, Max, you're doing like 7 shows. You're going to be in Atlanta today. You're going to be in Lagos tomorrow. You're going to be in New Hampshire next. I will go happily, because this is what I'm meant to do. I am where God needs me to be. This is my passion. So this is to somebody listening to this and wondering, oh my God, I've been pushing, I've been doing what I can, and it could be anything, it could even be activism. Some of you, the kind of energy you have for activism is clear that's where God has pushed you to. It's clear that owning an NGO, fighting for human rights is what you're supposed to be. I mean, there are so many people that did that in past history. For example, Martin Luther King Jr. Talk about somebody like him. He couldn't have been, well, to be honest, he could actually have been born in today. There are too many things to fight for. Do you understand? But he was there for slavery. He was there for human rights. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's why I prefaced it by one of the reasons why I know there's a God is the intentionality of where or when I was born. Yes, my podcast gift and I call it a gift. Most of you may not agree. That's also fine. My podcast gift could not have found as much expression in other centuries, but in this century, in this time, there is something for me. Trust me, there is something for me. And the expression is fulfilled because I think it wouldn't have been as much expressive without social media. It would have been as beneficial without, mics and everything. So yeah, there is. All right. So this is just a word to somebody. Very, very important that you do. Very, very important that you take it seriously. Listen, that thing. I'm not saying quit your job. Hey, perfect. As we're ending this episode, let me draw your ear. Draw your ear as you are listening. I'm not saying quit your job. Neither am I saying drop everything and push. On the episode with James, we talked about this thing, understanding where your purpose and your passion is, and still managing how to get to that. All right. Well, you have a 9 to 5. Well, you have probably something that you are doing or you are building. Work on that. All right, work on that. There will be a time, there will be a place for these things. I would say once you discover your passion, begin to nurture it, begin to grow in it. I didn't just start working on this particular Mark Stokes, this thing now. I started 3 years ago, and I wasn't even talking about faith. I was growing myself. Be working on yourself, be pushing yourself, be doing the things you need to do. All right, just keep working on it. Don't worry about the rest. Continue to push yourself towards these things. Eventually, all right, what you are growing will be robust enough for you to live on it. So, for example, if you're a young person, say you are between the ages of 13 and let's use 21. In other words, you are still before your university, or rather, you're still not graduated from university yet. I would say use the fact that you're in your parents' protection and custody, whatever, to nurture your gifts. Because right now you're not looking for money, you're not, do you understand? But begin to hone your gifts, begin to hone your skill, begin to hone yourself so much that what you want to do or what you're passionate about or what you're called to do or your purpose can begin to find expression. If it's ministry, study, read, immerse yourself in the word. If it's podcasting like me, talk as much, like any platform there is to talk. Build your speaking gifts. Know how to take topics and drag them out for long periods of time. Learn how to hold conversations with people. Do you understand? If it is music, sing at every opportunity. I don't believe your gift is music and you are not practicing at least once every day. If you're a music person, even if it is without keyboard, be practicing the chords, be practicing the whatever. Make sure that there is no day you are not owning your gifts till the day it finds expression. And then probably, so if you're now somebody like is in your late, or let me not say late, you're in your mid-20s and you're now in your 40s, probably mid-20s to 40s, all right? You just found, your purpose, your gift, your whatever, all right? And you want to work in it. I would now say, be putting that thing side by side, your 9 to 5. So probably be trying to build a brand, build a business, but slowly. Nobody's asking you to leave your job. Hear what I said. And if you're in school, I'm not saying forgo school. Be doing school and be doing that. All right. Please, and please. Let's temper wisdom. Let's have wisdom, please. Because some people now say, yes, I have passion. Let me go out. Hey, slow down. Chop rice. But you understand what I'm saying? All right. I hope this really helped you. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to put it in the comments. Please always do. I know I don't mention this so much, but if questions, comments, put it in the comments. I'll be happy to hear your thoughts and also share, like, subscribe. There's also the YouTube. I know I don't post them much, but if you love what we're doing here, please also subscribe to the YouTube. There are episodes that are going to be coming out very soon, and I don't want you to miss out on it just because you didn't subscribe. So these episodes are also great, but the YouTube is very important. Thank you so much, guys. And before the end of 2026, I want to get a standard at least 30K following, at the very least, on Instagram and on Spotify. So I want 30,000 people monthly to be listening to this. All right. So if we're going to get to that, it's going to take all effort from all of us. So guys, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you on another episode.